Well, hello, hello. This is a little bit of a different live, isn't it? I am actually driving, but I should be at my destination in a couple of minutes. But I didn't want to be late. So I am coming on when I'm driving. Jessica, Jay's holding there's Cuddles back there looking out the window. Jay's holding the computer for me.
Laptop.
So laptop. Sorry, I've
Yes.
been corrected. It's not a computer, it's a laptop. Anyhow, she's holding it for me, and today is the first episode of Connected Hearts. That's what I've decided to call this get together that we're going to have every first Saturday of the month, where we're going to just share. And I don't know what the real format's going to be. You all are going to determine that. But it's going to be a place, a safe place where people who maybe during the week don't have anyone to talk to, don't have anyone to share with, feel isolated, feel abandoned, feel alone. And this is going to give you an opportunity to connect with people, good people. In fact, I think some of the absolute best people there are on YouTube and on the net. Not just that, period. You know? And according to what Kenneth said last week, he said best people on the planet. So I'm going to go with that. Best people in the planet. And just, express yourself and have a place to at least connect with someone once a week. I know that there are people who watch this live who are shut-ins, who can't get out, or who don't have vehicles. And aside from people who are van lifers and they're out traveling and all about, but there's really a wide mix of people on this channel. And once a month from now on, God willing, we're going to get together and chat. I'm going to go back and look at the comments in about 3 minutes. And Mary is going to be coming on. Mary, I did a video that I aired this morning. It was of a tour I did a while back when I was in Quartzsite. And it's a tour of a minibus that beautiful antiques throughout. The owner used to own an antique store. And believe it or not, she was in a rollover accident where her bus actually rolled over completely while she was in it. And she walked away unscathed. As if that's not a miracle or enough. The structure of the bus, the entire bus, she says, didn't suffer any damage. None. I mean, that's unbelievable. However, the inside, the build was completely destroyed. But as it turned out, and I'm going to let her tell her story because she's going to do a video sharing all the ins and outs and what happens. But it turned out that it ended up being something that could have been so terrible, the inside being destroyed, turned out to be a blessing in disguise. So her channel is Maximalist Minibus, and she's going to be doing in the upcoming week or weeks, she's going to be airing some videos sharing that incident, that rollover accident, and telling you how it turned out to be a blessing for her. She used to be a television she used to be involved in writing for TV and doing other things on television. So she's a great writer. She can tell a great story, and I think you're really going to enjoy her channel. But yeah, we are going to have a guest. So bear with me, you guys. I am almost where I'm going to be perching. I just wasn't able to get here earlier. And Jessica's, I'm getting some comments from the peanut gallery over here,
Hilarious.
which are unsolicited peanut gallery comments. Did you hear that? Unsolicited? You know what that means, right?
No, I don't. I've heard that word.
Unsolicited means I didn't ask for them. They're unwanted, in other words. Oops. Yeah, oops. We have some oopses over here occasionally. But anyhow,
Would you let go of the laptop? I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. I don't want it bouncing up and down. I don't want to make people dizzy.
Yes, I know.
You got me a little bit. You got me at a little bit of an angle there.
How about that?
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
Okay.
Anyhow, uh, we're going to be, well, you guys set the tone. Let me know in the comments, how do you want this monthly um, broadcasts to go? Do you want people coming up, making comments? Do you want me bringing people up, them sharing their experiences? Mary's going to talk about today how to make friends on the road. And that's something that a lot of people who are starting van life write to me and they tell me, you know what, I just don't know how to make friends and I'm afraid that I will be really lonely out there. Other people who are already on the road write to me and tell me that they are, in fact, very lonely and they haven't met anyone. I did a video a while back in which the wonderful couple from Less Junk, More Journey shared how after they had been on the road, now they have a family. They have kids. Well, they only had one child then, but they have each other, and it appears they have a beautiful relationship. But they were so lonely and lacking community on the road that after a year, they almost quit van life or nomad life and came back in. But they share how they found community. And I'm going to be asking Mary some questions and giving you the opportunity, those of you who are on the road, to ask her how she um, developed a community and how she met people and meets people on the road. And then I'm going to also, for those of you who are solo and live alone, but have community and have developed relationships, I would like to, I'm envisioning maybe bringing some of you up um, during these broadcasts to have you share how you meet people. One person sent me a comment and they said, you know what, I don't know how to start conversations with someone. And I'm in a room full of people, but I'm afraid, I'm paralyzed. I'm adding my thoughts that she's paralyzed with fear and can't go up and speak to people. But she says she just doesn't know how to start conversations. So I um, plan on bringing a psychologist up and having her share some ways that you can get over that fear and just some icebreakers that you can share um, and will help you. But anyhow, okay, Jessica, okay. Jessica's like, huh, huh, huh. All right, okay. I am here. Jay is
Why you call me Jay?
okay. Anyhow,
Like my brother Jesse's nickname.
okay, all right. Okay, well, you know what? Let me go look at some of these comments real quick because I'm really behind on comments. But hey, Carlene is in the house. Hello from New Mexico. I know, Kenneth. I love this family of friends too. Prius Life Below Zero. Ooh, from Alaska. And Anu is in the house. And Debbie Johnson. One of my fabulous moderators, Nora from Arcuda 2000. And Adele. Oh my goodness. So the crew is here. I'm looking to see. Oh, there she is. Mary from Maximalist Minibus. Let me see. Oh boy, you know how it goes, folks. Let me see if I can't drop a comment. I'm sorry. Drop a link here. Woohoo! This is gonna be a good. This is gonna be a good live because I dropped it the first time. I didn't even kick myself out like I did last week or so. All right, so Mary, if you see that link with my name in it, Glorious Life on Wheels, underneath there's a link. Hit that link and it will take you over where I can pull you up. Hey, Susan Shear, one of my members. Hello, and see Rose is in the house. Hey, Vaughn, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, everyone's saying hello, Brad. Hello, Brad. Donna Flynn is in the house, and Nancy McIntyre is saying hello to Mary. All right, I am going to go a couple more minutes saying hello. Outdoor Dash Travels, fabulous moderator, also in the house. And let's see, Nora, my moderator. I always already greeted Nora. Hello, Melody from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been wanting to go to Atlanta. There's a fabulous tiny house village that a young man put together. They're kind of expensive though, but they're Very modern, beautiful. I've been really wanting to see those. I see you're over there, Mary, and I'm going to bring you up in a minute. Stella's got it is in the house. Hello. Ivy and Bo and me. Now, who is Bo and me? Okay, I'm kind of curious about that. Hey, Carla, how's it going? And Brenda, hello, Brenda Burner. Oh my goodness. Kathy Red is saying hello from New York. Oh, whew, we're gonna hopefully take a trip this summer. We may just head through your way, Kathy, through New York. Hi, Liza. Liza's in the house. My friend Nora's niece is in the house, Liza. Um, let's see, anyone else I need to say a quick hello to? CW Style, hello, hello. Yeah, I was hitting a lot of bumps, Carla. Oh my goodness. RLJ just wasn't holding the computer, hard to hold it while I was driving. Hey, Diane L, hello, hello, hello. New is saying hi to Jay. Victoria Furlan, oh my goodness. Okay, Amy and my doggies. Oh, okay. Hello, hello, Amy. All right, Sylvie, I'm gonna head on out. And Graham, oh my good, Graham says I was at a wedding the other day, and the priest, oh, here we go. The priest said, could everyone go stand next to the person that's giving them the most pleasure in life? The barman was almost trampled by the crowd. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna head on over from the Cece. Is this a dating show? No. No, it is not a dating show. It is a place for people who, are feeling a little bit abandoned, lonely, can come meet with friends because so many people have met friends on here and developed friendship. So it's a place for that, Cece. No, it's not. Oh gosh. Patty says hello from Corona. You think you talk too much? I don't think so. I don't think so, Patty. All right. Kathy Red says, I've been watching van life, but I'm still on the fence because of the Northeast. Oh, you mean because of the cold weather or what? Also, oh my goodness. I remind me before I end this video today, I have some breaking news. I mean, breaking fabulous news to share with you about a new development in van life and nomad living in San Diego County. I'm going to do a whole video and an interview and the whole thing, but I'm going to give you a little tweak of what's coming up. Since you guys are on here, you get it first. Hey, Ark Rosebud. Hello, hello. All right, let me bring you up here, Mary. Hey, Mary.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
I see you found some place to get some good internet.
Yeah, so far so good. You
You
see
look
the wind is
gorgeous.
blowing pretty hard on here.
You
Look
look
at the wind
beautiful.
out here.
You're glowing. It
Well, it's
literally.
time to glow. It's the Glow Live, so
I know you look like a movie star or something. Oh my goodness.
I got a little sun today. That might be it.
Ah, okay. You look like you've been spending the week on a beach in the Caribbean.
I
Oh
wish.
my goodness.
Just
Well,
quartzite.
anyhow, we did the tour of your bus, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be doing a video soon about what happened, but we won't go into all the details because you'll do that in your video. But you were in a rollover accident.
I was. It just almost exactly a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that must have been, I mean, when you're going through it, as the bus, did you realize it was going to turn as it, or were you thinking, no, 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 what?
Yes. No, at a certain point you go, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna go over.
Oh my gosh. Were you like, because did you have a dog at the time?
I did, yeah. I had Captain, who's gone now, but I had Captain.
Oh my God. I mean, I just can't imagine all the thoughts that are going through your mind,
Yeah.
like rapidly
Fine. The,
circling
the
through you.
the first thought that came into my mind was, how much is this going to cost me?
Are you kidding?
So that was actually the first thing I thought.
Oh my goodness. You didn't think, you're a girl after my own heart though, but you didn't think, oh God, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? You're thinking how much so you already decide you're going to make it. It's just how much it's going to cost you.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in the bus. You know, it's a very
Okay.
solid vehicle. And I never
Right.
thought, and I had my seatbelt on, and we were falling over in the right direction that my dog was going to land on me instead of me landing on him. So I wasn't too worried that we were going to get hurt, but I was embarrassed for one thing.
Embarrassed? That would be, I think, the last thing I would be thinking. Hey,
I know.
maybe if I had to crawl through a window, I might be embarrassed at that point.
Well, I did eventually have to do that, but
Oh
I
my
kept thinking,
goodness.
all these people are going to see me crash my bus, you know? But
Oh
the
my
money
goodness.
was the first thing.
Well, you guys don't want to miss that video because you're going to go into detail about everything in that video, about how it happened, what happened and everything in that video. So do not miss that. I'm sure that's going to be a very dramatic but compelling video because as it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Who would have thought that? You
Right.
know? I mean,
Hmm.
as you're looking around at your bus destroyed inside, not the outside, but the inside, your build that you had so lovingly put together and all your antiques and everything, I guess you must have been thinking, what the? Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
that was it was heartbreaking to see everything. And I had just done a rebuild. Actually my
Wow.
second build, and I had literally just finished the rebuild when this happened. So it
Wow.
was a sad moment, believe me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm just wow. Wow. But anyhow, you have been on the road full time now. I know you were tending to your ailing mother, but you've been
Mhm.
on the road full time now for how long in your bus?
It's hard to say because it was periods of time and then breaks. I've
Uh-huh.
lived in the bus for 6 years. I've been in the bus
Okay.
for 6 years, but about 3 years of that was in my mom's driveway, taking care of my
Okay.
mom. So I had about 6 months before, and then, I've had, gosh, a year and a half on the other end after she passed about a year and a half ago, and I had sold her house shortly before that, so I'm going on 2 years of
Okay.
full-time
So
on
2
this
years
stretch.
on 2 years on this stretch. So I want to
Yes.
ask you some questions because so many people, and then I want to let open it up for viewers to ask questions.
Yeah.
You now that you've been on the road for a while and you have a pretty outgoing personality and you used to be, involved in television and stuff, so you don't have maybe the same reluctance or the same timidity, however you say it, about approaching people. But how have you found that it's the easiest to meet people on the road because it's not like you're in a neighborhood where you see the same people all the time or where you're around people who live near you and you can just call up and say, "Hey, let's go do lunch," or whatever. Some people I don't see for a whole year, you know.
Right.
So how do you establish friendships? How do you meet people to make friendships? And how do you what is the best advice you can give to people who are going onto the road in order to meet people?
Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that I come across as outgoing. I wasn't always like that because when I was young, like the outcast, So when I first came out, there was a part of me that would always assume people didn't want to talk to me, and I would be like, "Oh, they don't want me to bother them. I don't want to bother them. I didn't think anyone would want to camp with me, and I kept away from people more because of my own insecurities. Um,
Mhm.
I think that I just don't everybody's in the same boat. Don't read anything into the way people behave. And I focus now when I'm around people with making them feel comfortable. Like I have to
Okay.
assume that if there were other people who felt that way. And so, I'm probably much more likely to be the first person to speak the other person
Okay.
because I focus on making them feel comfortable. I think, oh, this person might need somebody to talk to, and it's pretty clear if they don't. They make it
Right.
pretty obvious, but most people are very receptive to somebody reaching out, and somebody saying hello, basically. So that's the most basic advice I would give is think of the other person and that they might need a friend, and stop worrying about whether you need a friend or not, and just be there for other people. And
So
that
if you're
seems to
thinking
open a lot of doors.
so if you can maybe switch your thinking to instead of, "Well, I need to go talk to this," or "What am I gonna do?" You can say, "Well, maybe they're looking for someone to talk to." If you
Yes.
can approach them from that mindset, it's helpful. That's a good, I never thought of that. But now, where do you meet people and what kind of events do you go to meet people?
Honestly,
Or
since I've been on the road, the laundry day is one of my favorite days because I run into people I already know, I meet new people. Everybody here in Quartzsite goes to the same laundromat. And so or most people.
we're having a little bit of freezing there.
Oh, am I unfrozen now? Am I
Yeah, you're
good?
unfrozen now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm in a town I don't know, it gives me a good sense of what the town is, and it's the only way I'm going to meet somebody there is to go,
Okay.
to some place like the laundromat. But in terms of events, like I mean, the RTR is their way to the organization goes HAWA and the RTR go out of their way to connect people, and
Okay.
it's super easy to connect with people at the RTR. There was an event here in Quartzsite called Q24 that
Mhm.
was a lot of YouTubers, but also a lot of other people. Another thing called the Lit Cactus that was like a big campfire social every Friday night. To all those things all the time, but when I hit a new town, I tend to go to those kind of things. Then there are all kinds of things for special interests, like here in Quartzsite, there's the Rock Club if you like collect. There's senior centers. Every place has a senior center, but
Right.
Walmart, I mean, I'm open to meeting people any place, and so I've made really good. In fact, Schoolie Carol, who met her at Dollar General, you
Yeah,
know.
I met Schoolie Carol at a park, actually.
Yeah.
You know, she was parked at a park, and I was there doing a video, and
Mhm.
and I saw her standing outside the bus, and I was like, "That is the coolest bus." So I went up to her, and I just asked her if that was her bus, and we started talking, you know? Now, so basically, one of the things that you're saying, and I think I found this really helpful, is going to like, if you're I was talking the other day, if you're trying to fish for bass, you're gonna go where bass swim, right? And if
Mhm.
you're if you're out in the road, so some of the events, I love Lollapalooza. I don't know if they're gonna continue it since Lola passed, but Lollapalooza,
Yeah.
um, the Gutted was one event. Even Tiny House Fest, they have those all over the country every couple of months, from Phoenix to California to I think Midwest and East Coast. But there's Descend on Bend. I don't know. That's kind of big for me to go to. But then there's Chasm, which is in Lake Havasu. But basically, and then here in San Diego, they have a San Diego camper van club, and they meet at least once or twice a month. And last time I went to one of them, which was last Saturday, there were about 100 to 150 vehicles there, from vans to Vardos to cars to RVs. So if you go online, you can find, just go online and put van life events, and that'll have a whole listing. And then if you go on, say, whatever city you're in, you can put van life, say San Diego, van life LA, van life New York, wherever, and plug into some of those events. The other thing are Facebook groups. And then
Right.
you were making a suggestion that was Howa. Do you want to explain about Howa, what they have going?
Yeah. Before you're even on the road, you can join the virtual caravan where you have an opportunity to ask a lot of questions and meet people. And I think you can really tell even in a virtual setting what kind of.
Right.
So a lot of connections get made there. And then, of course, there's the in-person caravans. But like what you're saying with the Facebook groups, I mean, that's the ideal to just become part of everything. And then like one of your viewers here said, I love this community that we have. Going on a live stream like this of a channel that you follow, that
Right.
connects a lot of people. I've got people in the comments here right now that are who watch my channel, and they know each other from my Facebook group that I have that's related to the channel.
Right.
So any you don't have to wait until you're physically in the presence of somebody to make it.
That's a great point. That is a great point. We're getting a little bit frozen here, but when she was saying HAWA, for those of you who don't know what HAWA is the Home on Wheels Alliance. That's what it stands for. And it's a group
Yeah.
that was organized and developed specifically to help people who are nomads, who are on the road, and they help people if they have a crisis or an emergency. But they also have what Mary was referring to, the caravans, are groups that travel together during the it's during the summer, right? Is it during the
I
summer, or is
I
it during the
don't
winter?
I don't know if there's a season to it. I think that they do them at different times, but I know there's
Okay.
caravans going on right now. There's also caravans that are not Howard related too that you can find on Facebook.
And
So there's
there used to also be a Facebook group called We Camp Together, where you would
yeah,
go
that
on to find people to camp with.
I believe that's a Howard group. It's set up by Howard for that
Yeah, I
purpose.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said there used to be a virtual chat on Sundays where people would
Hmm.
go in and have a coffee chat. So just go onto the HAWA website and you can look up and find out what they have going on. And you don't have to join the caravan and stay there forever. You can just join. I joined a caravan. I just stayed with them for a week when they were camped in Quartzsite. You
Right.
can go, people go in and out of the caravans all the time.
And people break away. Sometimes people break away and do do you make a friend in the caravan and then break away and travel together, just the two of you.
Right,
It's
right.
it's not a commitment. It's not a commitment. It's just an open door.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Red. Red, one of my great moderators, dropped the link for Howa. Thank you very much. Um, I'm looking to see here. Hey, I haven't said hello to Three Generations. Hello. Hello, Gina. Twice Rider. Thanks for the chat. Oh, thanks for being here. Yes. Thank you, Deborah G. Mary's channel is it's maximalist mini bus. And
Say that 3 times fast.
Maximalist mini, no, no, I'm not gonna try. Nora said Mary is making so many fabulous points, and you are. You really are. And let's see who else is in here I haven't say. Hello, Martin. Oh, you had a CAT scan Friday. Praying the pain doctor will say I get a shot for this arthritis. And oh, I'm hoping so too, Marta. Well, everyone, can we say a prayer right now just for Marta? Just Lord, just touch her body. Let the CAT scan come back with good news. And this is a place to come and join and say hello and tell us what's going on in your life. And Vaughn says, anyone going to Tiny Fest this month? I do plan to go, Vaughn. I do plan to go at least for a few hours. But I do the Tiny Fest. There's going to have a Tiny Fest at the fairgrounds in San Diego, where they have all kinds of they just have all kinds of vans that are open. You can tour. They have tiny houses. They have seminars. I know Bob Wells spoke at it one year. He's not. I don't think he's going to be there this year. But they have speakers, and it's a good place to, like I was saying, to meet people also. But they have one here. They have one up in the Bay Area near Pleasanton, I think is where it was. And they also have one near Phoenix or somewhere in Arizona also. And I've been to the one in Arizona and the one here. Um, Celestial Gems designed by Anna Marie. Hello, hello, Anna. Adventuring Ely. To have a friend, you have to be a friend. That's a great point. You can't expect people to be friendly and come up and say hi and everything if you're not a friend to other people or friendly. That's a great point. Sylvia says, that's great advice, Mary. I agree. You can build solidarity with someone by just noticing that they looked as stressed as you feel. That, sometimes, if you see someone who's um, just looking like they're just having a hard day, just going up and speaking and saying hello and maybe offering them a word of encouragement. Noreen is saying she loves that approach. Miss Net says, being an introvert rather, I love that approach. And Nora says it takes the pressure off you and focuses on others. That's so right. What you were saying, Mary, about thinking, maybe they need someone to come up and talk to. It does take the pressure off you thinking, well, what should I do? What should I do? Why shouldn't I? They won't. And it puts the focus on them, which takes the pressure off of you. So hello,
Hmm.
Emily. How are you, Emily? Let's see, C. Rose and Lisa Robertson. I think I have greeted everyone. Nancy says Mary has never had a hard time making friends, in my opinion. So, so you've got some fans in here. Be anxious for nothing. Oh, I like that name. It's a daily reminder. It is. It really is. C. Rose says, I'm not a van lifer at the moment, just like you, living vicariously and hoping one day at least part time. Part time is a great way to do it, a great way. Oh, this is your first live adventuring, Ellie. Well, welcome, welcome. And we will all greet you at the end when everyone, that's how we roll. We will be greeting you. So glad that you're here though, Ellie. So glad. And Hot 69 Radio Rock. Hello, hello. Welcome in the house. I'm trying to see. Lisa says, why do some people have stars next to their names? Um, let's see the stars. I'm not sure. If you're a moderator, it's in blue. If you're a member of my channel, you're in what color? I think green. Is it green? Yeah. So there are different designations if you're channel member or if you are a moderator. Now, do any of you have any questions? Okay, Red says members have stars. Okay, thank you. Red knows more than I do.
Can
uh,
I speak to something that I saw in the
yes, please do.
Be anxious for nothing made a point that it's a lot harder to make connections in New England. And having been in New England for 3 years, I can say that that's really true because, nomad life isn't such a thing there. It's not as
Mhm.
visible anyway. Um,
Right.
and the few groups that focus on New England. And then I actually, if I see somebody in a parking lot of a Home Depot and I think that person's a nomad, I will sometimes, when I'm in Massachusetts, just go and talk to that person. You know,
Mm, okay.
you can tell if somebody's looking for connection and if they seem like somebody that you would enjoy connecting with. There's also meetups. There's a van life meetup that's New England based. And so there are options. It's definitely a lot harder than here. It's definitely more of a struggle, but I would focus on some of the online resources if you're in a place
Okay.
like New England.
And here in California, at the beach, you've got van lifers just loaded down at the beach and on Fiesta Island. So, I mean, you're just meeting people all over here in California. And in Arizona, you have a lot of people come there, like you said, flock there for the winter. So you have now, I did live in New England for a year, but I wasn't involved in van life. And I had a job. So I met a lot of people through my job. So, if you're retired or you're not working, even if you're not in van life, if you're in a sticks and bricks, once you retire and you're out of the workplace, that really um it narrows down, number one, your contact with people, and it narrows down your social life too, because a lot of times if you work with someone, they might invite you to events, or you might go to lunch, or you're at least seeing people every day. But it's not the case when you are not working anymore. And
But here,
Sharon, I'm sorry, go ahead. We're frozen up a little bit. Hopefully she'll get unfrozen soon.
am I back?
You're back. You're
I
back.
said, I said, don't discount how much fun you can have at the senior center because most
Yes,
of us are seniors. And once you don't have that job to go to, I mean, there's a lot going on at senior centers. There's usually plenty of activities and trips and things like that.
that's true. There even the senior center in Quartzsite, they have yard sales, garage sales. They have lunch every day there. They have bingo several times a week. So they have a lot going on there, even in Quartzsite. And the senior citizen center here, they have dances, they have chess, they have, I mean, origami. I mean, you name it, they've got it going on. So they have book clubs. So I mean,
Yep.
there, and
Bus trips.
the other place that's a good place to meet people, if you're, let's say you're not on the road, but you're in, for those of you who are living in homes or apartments, is the library. The library here has book clubs, and the the gym here, the YMCA, has book clubs, and the Senior Citizen Center. So, but the library has book clubs. They have all kinds of events going on. They have readings going on. It's I would say the library is a really good resource, and it's free. A lot of the stuff at the library that they have at the libraries are free. Plus, many of them have little bookstores where you can get a book for a quarter or 50 cents, you know.
Right.
Sharon is saying, "Good evening. I picked up my runaway camper, cool camper yesterday from Florida. That is so exciting, Sharon. Oh my
Great.
goodness. I'm so happy to get started on the road part-time for now. Oh my goodness, congratulations. Oh, I'm happy for you. Hello, Victoria Furlan is saying hello, and Sheila Honus is saying hello, hello. Who else? Cats and Dogs on Wheels say, hi, Mary. I commented, but it didn't show up. Maybe because I came through the link. I don't know, but hello, Cats and Dogs on Wheels. How are you doing? Let's see, who else is here? Thank you, Ark Rosebud says prayers for Martina, and three generations saying God bless Martina. So everyone, see, this is, you have some place here. I'm trying to cultivate, and hopefully have cultivated, a culture and an environment where you can come on here and people care about you. People care about what's going on with you. Adele, that's a good suggestion. If you have a dog, and a lot of people have dogs, go to a dog park and chat with other dog owners. That's a great point. That's a really good point. Nora says, I would also like to say that once you connect with one or two people, it just opens the door to other new people. That is so true, because I have met Nora through her being a moderator on these live, and we've become very good friends. Nora's now introduced me to one of her friends who's involved with different things involving seniors, and I want to interview her for something. So that's a great point, Nora, how once you meet a couple of people, then you then can sometimes be connected to their network of people, or at least some of them. So that's a really, really great point. Now, is there anyone that has, let's see. Oh, Sharon says, how do I purchase items on Amazon and use your support? Um, I don't have my Amazon link up yet. Do you have your Amazon link up, Mary? Mary's frozen, so I don't know. I'm
Yes, I
hoping.
have an Amazon link in my description of all my videos.
Okay, what you can do, I don't have my Amazon link. Eventually I will, but I don't. But Mary has her Amazon link up. So anyone who wants to support Mary, you can go over to her channel, and through her Amazon link, open up her Amazon link, and anything you want to buy on Amazon, if you buy through there, it doesn't cost you anything more, but it gets her a very, very small um uh what do you call it,
Commission.
payment, or yeah, I forget what the word is I'm looking for, but you can do that. Yeah, so she has an Amazon link, so go on over and support Mary that way. That would be a great way to support her.
Thank you.
And Betsy Power says, hey guys, from beautiful sunny Tucson. Oh, I bet it's beautiful there now, but come this summer, oh, Arizona's going to be burning up. Nora says, it's like networking. One connection will lead you to many others. That is so true. So true. Thank you, Lisa from Outdoor Dash Travels. Do hit that like button, and hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm. Sylvie says, that's so true about retiring, Carol. I found myself reconnecting with people who used to work at some of the places I worked at. That is a blessing if you can do it. Yeah, because if you think about it, when you're working when you as an adult are working, it's kind of like when you're going to school. You're spending the greater part of the day every day at this place. So that's where you're going to meet a lot of people, and that's going to be a huge part of your social connection. So when that ends, that at least that part of your social connection stops. I wish, you know what I wish they had? I wish at jobs, and maybe you know what, I may suggest this to a couple of companies. I wish they had seminars they have seminars, on finance, and how to, Medicare and all this stuff. But I wish they had seminars for people who are retiring on how to start making connections outside of your workplace, and that they worked with people doing that maybe 6 months before they were going to retire, so that they could transition from their job social setting to other social environments. That would be such a
Mhm.
huge service that companies could provide. I'm trying to think of which companies are kind of progressive and might do something like that. You know what? I don't need another project. God knows I don't need another project, but
No, you don't. You do
I
not
don't.
need another project.
I don't, but that would be wouldn't that be a huge, if someone's on here who is a social worker or who is in that field, that might be a business you could do, because that would be such a benefit to people who are exiting out of the workplace. Because I've heard about so many people who retire, and within a few months after they retire, they pass away. It's not
Mhm.
unusual
Yep.
within the first year of retirement for people to pass, and I
Mhm.
think it's probably that they, have lost their social connections, and that they, yeah, that's a good idea. Nora, I'm gonna talk to you and the other Carol about that, but I
Can I
can't do it.
all this talk about jobs reminded me of one of the most important ways that I've found to meet people, and that is volunteering for things. Um, my most of the people that I'm close with out here right now are people who volunteered on my build, and
Mhm.
whenever I can, I volunteer for other things. I have a viewer who had was her first year out had a very hard time and felt that nobody was wanted to be her friend, and she would tell me how nobody liked her. And then this year she volunteered at La Posa South. Everything's changed. Now she's got people around her. She's got friends who help her with her own projects, and it's really opened the world up for her.
That's such a good suggestion, Mary. Volunteering can open doors to meeting such wonderful people. Plus, you're helping someone who is in need of assistance, whether you're volunteering either at an animal shelter, a senior citizen center, wherever. But that's a great, great idea, volunteering in order to meet people. Kenneth says, I'm going to visit Graham and his bride someday. I will travel by porpoise via killer whale. Well, Graham's in Australia, so that may be the way you have to go, although it would be a little bit easier to fly. Adventuring Ellie says, great ideas. I'm from Mary's neck of the woods. I have a ton of family there, driveways aplenty.
Oh,
Oh, that makes it
wow.
so much easier. Yeah, makes it so much
That's a
easier.
great offer. Pay attention to that offer, you New Englanders.
Okay, all right. There's Adventuring Ellie. Ellie, do you have a channel? They could reach you on your channel. Ark Rosebud says there are a lot of those seniors that look forward to having visitors, even strangers. That is so true, so true. And there's seniors in senior places that they have not had a visitor in years. And when I was in college, one of my classes you had to do community service for. So I decided to do it at a senior citizen center. And I met this woman who was such a delight. And she just really, and I was young, she was much older, but we connected. And I could tell when I walked in the room, she would just light up. She was so happy, and it just made her whole day, her whole week. So, and I think one of the best ways to rise or to get yourself out of a depression is to help others, and to see that you're pouring something into someone else's life that makes a difference in their life. Adele says there are online book clubs too if you're housebound. Thank you, Adele. That's a great suggestion. You guys are coming up with some really good ideas here. Celestial Gem Designs by Anne Marie says, our senior center in Riverside has so much going on. That is so good to hear. Sarah Caldwell is saying hello to everyone. Patty Irwin says, my mom was in a writing club at the senior center for several years. It was an interesting group, and she wrote so many stories of her life. And that would be something, wouldn't that must have been a blessing to
Mhm.
you, Patty, to get those stories. I'm looking to see. Three Generations says, Kenneth, I was all in for visiting with Poppy and his bride, but I'd much rather stay dry. All right. Hey, Spirit Wind View. Hello, hello. Sylvie says, yes, this weekly live is really great. I look forward to this. I really look forward to this. Sarah Caldwell says, my van is finally fixed mechanically. So after my hammock comes in from Amazon, I will be all set. Well, where do you think where are some of the first places you want to head out to, Sarah? I'm looking to see everyone's saying congratulations. Just Vaughn says, Carol, I'm going to be at Tiny Fest too. Okay, we'll have to connect, Vaughn. We'll talk and connect before that. It's coming up in the middle of March. Kenneth says, Vaughn's, you and Red make all the difference here. Oh, thank you, Kenneth. That's so sweet. Sylvie says, I started volunteering a few years before I retired. I ended up being really glad I did that. Yes. You know what? Anyone who is still working, if you can start doing things to expand your social group before you retire, so as one area of social connections, as one door is closing, you already have another door that you've opened and that you've walked through. I think that would be such a good thing to do. Thank you, Victoria. Red says, speaking of making connections, I'm going to Saturday night service at my church and Sunday morning too, but it's at 5 p.m. here in Denver, so I have to go early. Okay, no problem, no problem, Red. Um, Church is another way. They have groups at church, they have small groups, and that's another way. Lisa at Outdoor Dash Travel says, hence why I'm going full time van life instead of returning to corporate life. Okay, okay. All right. Are there anyone? Carlene says, you're going to be late, Red. Enjoy this service. Oh my goodness. All right, Red. We'll see you next week and hopefully you have a great time at church. Adventuring Ellie says, I'm in Georgia and yes, I have a channel. Okay. All right. Check out Adventuring Ellie and we will be hitting up everyone who has channels, letting you know at the end of the broadcast. Patty says, Carol, that's a danger for retired airline pilots. They have to retire young. And I think having so much adrenaline all the time, then nothing causes them to have problems. That's true. And perhaps they could take up things, like surfing, which you still have adrenaline, and surfing, that's a whole subculture in itself. And you meet lots of people at the beach and surfing. But I think for a lot of people, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this is not something that would impact any of us here, but they were talking to Terry Crews and he was talking about what happens to football players, and I'm guessing other athletes too, when they stop playing football. He said so often they've made that their entire life, and when they stop, they're just lost. They're despondent. It's like they don't know what to do with themselves. They've never really, that was their focus for so long. And he was talking about how it's dangerous when that becomes who you are instead of what you do. And that's,
Mhm.
I think, a danger for some people that what their job is, they make that into who they are instead of making it what they do so that
Right.
they can separate and have another life. Travels with Tia the Terror says, hi, great topic. Glad caught it. In Massachusetts and yes, New England would be tough, if not impossible, to be a nomad. But you were a nomad there for a while, Mary, right?
Oh yeah, I did it. I lived from spurts earlier, but from March until November of last year or 2 years ago, I was in New England as a nomad. I was completely in the bus,
I
and I
wonder what it's like being a no. That's interesting because that brings up a point that I was making to in a conversation. I forget who I was having it with, but it was about how the cultures are so different in different parts of the country. Where, in the
Mhm.
South, you're driving by and no one knows you, but people on porches are all waving, hi, hey, you. They're all, hey, and you're like, who are they? But that's how it is. At the beach, people are kind of, hey, a cool vibe. It's all cool. And in New England, people are much more reserved. So I wonder, is there anyone here? You said you're in Georgia. Anyone doing van life right now in the South, deep South? And do people, because it's, even though South is very friendly, they're very traditional too. So on van life, is not a traditional kind of thing. So anyone have comments that's in the deep South as to how you're received in van life? Do they look at you like they look like, oh, that's some hippie from California? Or how do they look at you?
I feel like in the different areas, it's really about where they wear their warmth. You know, in the South, it's worn on the surface. It's very in front of you. In the Northeast, the warmth is there. It's just the next layer down. You know,
Okay.
having grown up there, people talk about people being cold there, and it's people are a little more protective of each other's space. They don't go into each other's space quite so easily. But
Okay.
I found that people are very warm in New England, and I found in the South, people are warm right out of the gate, but it's a little harder to get to have a personal relationship with somebody. That's my experience as a New Englander who moved to the South.
I found when I lived in New England that the people who did approach me and who were reaching out, it was on a much deeper level, like you said,
Yes.
and they really meant it. It wasn't just because it was customary to say, oh, hi to everyone, hi, hi, hi. It was because when they did do it, they meant it and they wanted to be your friend. Whereas in the
Mhm.
South, sometimes people are just doing it out of habit because it's the way, it's the culture. But it's like, yeah, we'll have to get together, and then you never hear from them. In New England, I found when someone said, let's go to lunch or something, they were like, okay, when are you available? Okay, let's do, it, they meant it, and you knew they were going to follow through. So that's a good point to make, Mary, that it may be more reluctant to approach, but once they do, there's a deeper level perhaps of
Right.
sincerity.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that it's necessarily like people are more sincere. It's just a question of what layers things are in. You know what I
Okay.
mean? There's warmth and connection everywhere. It's just how many layers are you willing to go through to get there is
Right.
kind
That
of
would
the
be an
thing,
now
you
that would
know.
be an interesting book on, the differences in my life and van life in the South, the Northeast, California, the South, that would be a
Mhm.
very interesting book to
Very
see, get comments from people about their experiences in van life based on what part of the country they're in and how well
right.
they're received based on that. Victoria
Right.
says, churches where I have met many who are lifelong friends, like Chris Alexander, who reached out in this chat tonight. It's been at least 20 years since we saw each other last. Wow. That is so cool.
That's
When you have
incredible.
a friend that you can maybe not see for years and years, but you talk to them on the phone and it's like they're right there with you.
But
Or if you see them again, it's like you have you do you ever have a friend you haven't seen in a long time, but when you do see them, it's like you just pick up like there wasn't even
right.
a break. You just pick right up from where you left off. You know?
Mhm.
That is so cool. Patty Irwin says, my dad planned and bought antique planes. Wow. And kept real busy at the local airport after retiring from airlines. That was so smart on his part. Wow. Okay, Red says, I'll be listening as I change and drive through. Bye. Bye, Red. Thanks for being here and thanks for being such a faithful moderator and member. Um, Elsa says, how advocate when realize that you have is not in your best interest. So I'm not getting that. Are you saying how to advocate for yourself when you realize that someone doesn't have your best interest at heart? I'm not quite getting that question. But I think how you advocate for yourself, if I'm understanding it, Elsa, is people have to ask for what they need sometimes. My daughter often will say, well, I'll say, well, she'll say, well, this person didn't do blah, blah, blah. I'll say, well, did you ask them? Well, no, they should know. And I'm always saying, people aren't mind readers. You have to sometimes ask people for what you need. If you
Mhm.
need them to communicate or to do whatever, you have to tell people that they're not mind readers. And I think that's the best way to advocate for yourself is to communicate with others.
Yeah. And Carol talked about the other day is, a lot of people have family who not only don't support their desire to be nomads, but openly mock it, or
Right.
just don't understand it at all. And the one thing I would say to those people is there's a saying that says, never try to teach a pig going to get mad and you won't like the song.
We
And
missed that. Wait, we missed that. Could you say that again?
oh, never try to teach a pig to sing because the pig's going to get mad and you're not going to like the song. And the point of it being, people are who they are. And,
Right,
you can try to make those people into your supporters, or you can just live your life and find people who truly are your supporters. And
right.
maybe those people will come around on their own. Maybe those pigs will learn to sing. Maybe they won't. But
Yeah.
you can't
Don't
fault people
try and
for who they are and what their
correct.
perspectives. A lot of people are really in their box and they can't see this life because this life is outside the box. Let's face it.
Some people, I have found that when I have really, really negative people in my life, it really brings me down. And I have to distance myself from them for my own mental health. Some people, they may be even in your family, but you can love them from a distance. I I can't I just I have decided I have to glean, or prune. It's like my life is kind of like a tree, and every once in a while I have to prune the dead weight off. Jessica, could you please not move around so much? You're making the shake.
Sorry.
And sometimes I have to prune the dead weight off. Otherwise, it just brings me down and it keeps me from thriving. So, Patty Irwin says, before I came out to California to care for my elderly parents, I used to visit friends at the retirement homes. That's a very good way to to not only help other people, but to helping other people often helps your mental outlook. Be anxious for nothing says, how cool we met up here, Vicky. Oh my goodness. Adventuring Ellie says, I like to fix things and build stuff. If anyone is passing through Georgia, I have a nice yard across from a lake. Wow. At High Falls State Park, I'm looking for a van. Oh my goodness. So if someone's passing through Georgia and needs something fixed, Ellie maybe your source. Huh? Sarah says, I want to go everywhere, but first I think to see the Grand Canyon. Oh, yeah. If you're going to go the Grand Canyon, I would say probably April, maybe May. May is probably a perfect
Mhm.
time to go because some of the roads, could be frozen up, but in May they're not typically. And in the Grand Canyon, there are different this I think it's the south entrance we went to, but they have these statues that are unbelievable. Like one it looks like a big gigantic enormous duck, and the Grand Canyon, but there's so many structures too there that are just so interesting. There's another place that's about 30 miles or 30 minutes from that entrance, and that's in I think it's in Williams, and it's called Arizona. I found it very interesting. Some may not, but you drive through and they have all these wild animals that are just roaming around. And it was very, very interesting. Bears, and I don't know if they're elk, but all kinds of things. So interesting. But you will love the Grand Canyon, I think, Sarah. I think you really will. Hey, Lady Luck. Hello, hello. Um, I'm trying to see anyone else. Panda Chicken Mama, hello, hello. Heading to Texas later this month. Anyone between Kansas City and Big Bend National Park want to meet up? Okay, well, Panda Chicken Mama is saying if there's anyone who's between Kansas City and Big Bend National Park that wants to meet up, she's wanting to meet up with people in that area.
Great.
Prius Life Below Zero says they've been volunteering with veterans for over 5 years and have met some truly amazing people, and has also helped me work through some of my PTSD issues. It is so true. You will work through some of your issues helping other people. It's just amazing how it works like that. Susan, one of my members, says, I feel insecure because I'm not married and don't have children. I enjoy and cultivate friendships with all types of people, but often feel people judge me for not having family. Am I wrong? You know what? You're going to always have people who are stuck on stupid. I'm sorry. That's just the only way I can put it. They have an opinion, you know, they have an opinion of how they want their life to go. And then they project that on everyone else. Don't accept someone else's projections for what you should do or must do with your life. There, I would agree, there are people who, um, before I adopted Jessica, I was 50 when I adopted her. I had a lot of people say, "Oh, you were married that long? You didn't have children?" Nope, didn't. Nope, did not. And I think it's about feeling good about yourself and not allowing other people to chip away at you. Because if you let people, they will take a piece here, a piece there, a piece here, and pretty soon you'll be a skeleton. They will have picked you down to your bones. So,
I think it's also important not to take people's assumptions as judgments. Like, I know that I don't feel like anyone's ever judged me for being not having kids and being single as long as I have. I've been divorced since I was over younger than 30, but I do feel like people make assumptions about me. See me, like, for example, when Bob Wells toured my bus, he said to me, "Oh, so you're retired? Do you have any grandchildren?" And I wasn't retired, and I don't even have children, let alone grandchildren. And I don't think he meant anything negative but you see people our age and you think, okay, they're in a later phase of their life. They must be beyond having children. I never
right.
had any, but I think it's important to just hear what people say and not read into it whatever judgments you might have on yourself about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. I think both. I think there are people who do make comments, and they're just basing it on their life experience, but they're not judging you. And then there are people who judge you, and sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between which
Yes.
is which. That's
Yes.
hard to discern. So I think if you just feel good about yourself and your choices, and you're okay with it, I think that's the most important thing, Susan. Um, Victoria says Mary has some videos about her time spent in New England. Well, that's great. Go. I'm encouraging you to all go over and check out Mary's channel. And again,
But not
she
till
has.
we're done here. Not till we're done here.
Okay.
Stay with us.
Okay. And Nora says, Susan, I think you might think they're judging you, but I'm guessing it's because you feel insecure about it. People only have that power if you give it to them. That's a good point. People cannot have power over you and your thoughts unless you allow them to. So don't give people permission to camp in your brain, do not give them permission to do that. They're not paying rent, so they should not be able to camp there you
This
know
ain't no BLM up here. This is not the
no.
BLM.
uh okay. um Maybe we can call it a BLM, better life movement, or something.
There we go.
All right. Susan says, Susan, Mary is not married with no children. I am married with children, and we've been friends for about 5 years. Hit it off right off. Yeah, you just have to pick. You just have to pick the right people to surround yourself with, and those people that are not, prune them out of your life. Sometimes you just have to really get a buzz saw and buzz them out. Nancy says. Sharon says, Susan, I'm single, and it seems to me coupled people are not friendly to singles. They are wondering what we were up to.
Ooh,
I
maybe.
I don't know if they're wondering what you're up to, but I don't think it's so much they're necessarily wondering what you're up to. I think some of them are looking at you and thinking, "Boy, I wish I had that life." I really do think some of them are thinking that. They're like, "Wow," they're looking at their lives, and then they're looking at yours, and they're thinking, that looks a lot better, the grass greener type of thing."
Yep.
But Adventuring Ellie says, this is the seventh state I've lived in. Wow, you have had done some traveling, Ellie. Vaughn's in a row says, Susan, don't worry about what others think. I am in the same situation. There's a lot of us. I was in that until I was 50. I adopted Jessica, but still, you know, I know what you're saying, Susan, but it's important. It didn't bother me if I everyone that I encountered wasn't judging me, but the ones that I felt were, didn't bother me because honestly, I just didn't care what they thought. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a friend who says they're not paying my rent, they're not going to pay for my funeral, so why do I care what they're saying? So Kenneth says, not to make levity of serious things, but I have been told I tend to cause PTSD. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, Kenneth. Hopefully not. Uh, Lisa says from Outdoor Dash Travels, I love New Englanders. I'm always there in the summer and have had no problems or judgments there. Yeah, you are there in the summer, Lisa, and that's good that you've had that experience. Adventuring Ellie says, I find people are not as sincere here as many places. Interesting. Interesting. Susan says, yes, Sharon, exactly what I was trying to articulate. Nora is saying, Mary, you're fabulous. So there.
Woohoo! Well,
uh,
yes, I am.
uh, uh, that's a good. I like that answer. I like that response. Kenneth says, I gotta put that in my repertoire. I like that, Mary. Kenneth says, Vons and you wonder why I admire you. Oh my goodness. Victoria says, Sharon Davis, I'm always in a situation where the married friends are trying to get someone for me. Like I'm a big threat or something. I'm a musician and just like to chat. I know if you're a woman and very friendly, there are some people who do get a little bit insecure around you. You know, if you're very friendly, they're but then that what that says is what do they think about their relationship if someone chatting with their partner makes them feel that threatened. That's sad actually. When you think about it, that's very sad for them that they have to feel that way if just someone is talking to their partner. Sylvie says, I found down here in Florida that people tend to be reserved until they are sure you will stay put. Oh, okay. You have a lot of snowbirds. We have the snowbirds, spring breaks, and lots of transient population. Well, that makes sense. People are saying, "Hey, I don't want to do a big investment of time into you if you're not gonna be here." We lost Mary for a minute there, but she's back. Okay. Kelly Kay says, "Wow, finally catching alive. How about audio book club? That's a great idea. A great idea. I can't do one. I got enough projects on my plate, but that's a great idea if someone in here wants to do one." Sylvie says, I hear you, Mary. No singing pigs. Kelly says, negative people are joy suckers. They are. They really are. And I finally, I had a lot of people in my life because it was just habits having them there, but they were draining the life out of me. And I finally had to break the habit. I had to finally break the habit. Kenneth says, how can we be lonely when we come here together? That's so true, Kenneth. And I'm so happy you said that. Vaughn's on a roll said, it's about finding your tribe, and you will find it. If, you know, seek and you will find. Susan said, thanks, Vaughn. I think I'm sensitive to this because I have no living family. It could be, Susan. It could be. I'm the last of my generation. Wow. No aunts, no uncles, no parents, no first cousins. Has travel helped you spread your wings? I'm going to tell you for me, after I left work, and especially after having a special needs child, leaving work brought my social group smaller. Having a special needs child brought my group even smaller. And me becoming involved in van life, even on a part time basis, my I mean, I always had my core group of ride or die friends who, but some of them were actually dying, because they were older. And so my group of even those ride or die friends was getting smaller and smaller. But once I became involved in van life, my group, not just because of YouTube, but because of being out meeting people at events, has just expanded so large. I have people who call and check on me on a regular basis. Nora is one of them, and I value her friendship so much. And I have so many other people who I've developed so many rich, abiding friendships. And yes, to answer your question, the answer to that is yes, Susan, and a resounding yes. How about you, Mary?
Yeah, that my answer is yes too. I'm not in that situation. I have family that I love who are still around and are
Mhm.
supportive, but um it's still I was struggling with depression and things like that, and I was thinking this morning, it's like, when was the last time I was depressed? And I couldn't even come up with,
Wow.
because being on the road has it's been the best therapy that I've ever had, that's for sure. It's
Wow.
it's been fantastic for me.
Nancy says, I'd like to go to the Grand Canyon first, too. Oh, that's cool. All right. I'm going to see if there's any questions because we're going to wrap this up. And I got to remember to tell you what I was going to tell you about what's happening in San Diego. C. Rose says, so true, Carol. I feel the same. I have to love from afar and keep a healthy distance from the negative folks. Absolutely. Elsa says, singing pigs, bullfrog orchestra. Susan, I'm an introvert. Vaughn says, Susan, I'm an introvert most of the time, but it definitely helps. Hey, Ariel America Art says, I lived in my car for 3 years on public land, joined Caravan, and didn't make one friend that was long lasting. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ariel. You had a very different experience than many of us do, but that doesn't mean that there still aren't groups out there that you can meet some people who are wonderful in. Noreen says, agree. Go to Grand Canyon before or after crowds, May or October. Yep. Great times to go before school lets out and after the kids are back. It's not as hectic and you can really do and see more. Hey, intentional frugal, okay. Frugality and budgeting. I got it finally. All right. Noreen is laughing and stuck on stupid. Ark says, I saw a story about Arizona on the TV today. I never heard of it. Looks like a great place to see animals safely. It's a wonderful place. I just love it, love it, love it. Kelly's going to steal the stuck on stupid. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me tell you some information that I would pull it up on my phone, but I don't have time to go look for it and search for it. But here's what's happening in San Diego. There was a lawsuit filed by an attorney, and I think it was from Disability Rights. And I'm not sure of what prompted the lawsuit. I think they may have impounded the vehicle of someone who was disabled. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get an interview with her to get to the bottom of the details. Anyhow, they filed a lawsuit against the city of San Diego saying that they were violating the rights of people who were living in their cars because they had nowhere else to live and they were criminalizing them, so on and so forth. The city of San Diego has settled that lawsuit. The settlement includes, I don't know all of the details, but let me try and find it. But the settlement includes, supposedly, I'm being told, where people who live in cars and have nowhere else to go, the city is no longer going to be ticketing them, is my understanding. And in fact, they're going to refund. You can, I think they're going to refund, it says, the fees that some people have paid who qualify. Let's see, lawsuit San Diego, living in cars. This should bring it up. Okay, here's what it says. A nearly $3.2 million settlement agreement in a class action. It was a class action lawsuit challenging the city of San Diego's enforcement of an ordinance prohibiting people from living in their vehicles is moving towards approval in federal court. So apparently, the federal courts have to approve this. But what it says is that I'm looking here. It says it will set new laws for how San Diego officials are allowed to enforce those bedding down along city streets for the next 3 years. My understanding is supposedly what they're supposed to do, the city has said we're going to do more to make parking lots, places for people to park. So for the next 3 years, my understanding is they're not going to enforce people who are living in cars on city streets. They're not going to ticket them or tow them. Now, the question is about RVs. That is the question. But they're not going to. That's huge. That is huge because what that means is if that lawsuit went forward here in San Diego, that means that they're probably going to be filing lawsuits all over the state,
Mhm.
in Los
Right.
Angeles and Oceanside. And so I'm thinking that maybe some cities, to get ahead of this, might start changing some of their guidelines. But I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm trying to do an interview with someone from the city council here as and setting up interviews with individuals from the city council, as well as the board of supervisors and the attorney who filed the lawsuit. So things may be changing. Maybe people are realizing if you have nowhere to go in your cars, your only shelter, ticketing you over and over and then impounding your vehicle and making you sleep on the streets is a dumb move, which I've been saying all along. So I will keep you all posted on what's happening on that. But I think that is great, great, great news. And hopefully, over the next 3 years, the city will come up with some places for people to park so that everyone can be happy. Residents
Carol,
who, yeah,
does San Diego have safe parking? Because Los Angeles has areas that are called safe parking, and they're
they do.
lots.
They do.
Yeah,
They have a couple of lots, but one of the lots you can't leave your RV there. So I know someone who has a trailer, and so every time if she has to leave to go to a doctor's appointment, she can't unhook. You can't bring your trailer with you to a doctor's.
right.
So she has to hook up her trailer, move it somewhere else, go to the appointment, then come back, hook. That she just can't do that.
Yep.
So they're looking for solutions because there still are no good solutions for RVs. Oversized vehicles is what they're calling them. So, but I'm going to get to the nitty gritty and find out everything that's going on, and I will keep you guys posted. Sylvie says people in sticks and bricks many times distrust transient people. That's true. They feel vulnerable, probably a hangover from carpet bagging area. Well, and let's be honest about it. Let's be honest. There are some people who are living in vehicles who make an ungodly mess. They
Yep.
dump all their trash. They use the bathroom. They, threaten people. I mean, and those individuals ruin it for everyone. As is always the case, are often the case. Just like Walmart, the Walmart up, and I think it was Cottonwood, Arizona. I was in and I was camping up there. And I went over to Walmart to see if you can spend the night there because I couldn't get into the campground I was going to stay at till the next night. And the manager told me, she goes, we don't allow parking here anymore. Two people who lived in RVs got into a huge fight in the parking lot. And she said, no, this is one of the employees told me, assistant manager. And she said, and the manager here said, that's it. We're done. No more parking overnight here. And each Walmart, my understanding, the manager there has the authority to decide depending on what the city ordinances are. And so when you have a couple of people, the Walmart in Walmart rather in Encinitas, employee there told me there was someone out in the parking lot changing their oil, dropping oil all over the parking lot, and they had to go because if that oil is left there and someone slips and trips on it and gets injured, Walmart's going to get sued. So they had to go out and have employees that they're paying to work at Walmart go out to the parking lot and clean up that oil. And she said it took hours, and they had to put the sawdust and all the. So of course no one can park there anymore. That was a consequence of that.
Right.
So yeah, there are some people who distrust transients, but there are some transients who've caused this distrust too, and painted, and now people paint everyone with that brush when it's not the case, unfortunately. So let's see. Carlene says you shouldn't be defined by how many children you have. I have 5, and there was a lot of comments about that. I know people are upset if you don't have kids, and then if you have more than they think you should have, they're upset. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is you're never going to please other people. So don't try. Just please yourself and those you love and who care about you. That's it. That's really the lesson here, I think.
And I
All
try to
right.
please my dog. Just my dog. That's the only
Yeah,
one I have to please.
yeah, because your dog's going to love you unconditionally. I mean,
Absolutely.
how many people is there? There's nothing you can do that your dog will stop loving you. They may be a little leery of you or maybe not trust you, but they're still going to love you. How many people can you say that about? Adorable,
That's
absolutely
the
adorable.
recipe. That's the cure for loneliness right there.
It is. It is a wonderful cure. Sylvie says other people's judgment means less to me as I get older. Uh, there is one big judgment of me that will come at the end. True, true, true that. And it will have nothing to do with what you think of me. Very true. Very, very true. All right. Well, folks, I know there are all kinds of comments, and I'm sorry I'm not getting to them, but we are way over because Mary's so interesting. We just can't leave her. So, but
Yes, I
anyhow,
am.
I like that. I like that. I gotta adapt that. Yes, I am. All right. Who in here is a content creator? Could you please put a C down so we can acknowledge you and say hello? Go over and show you some love and subscribe and run your videos to, if you're not monetized, get you monetized. And who in here is here for the first time? Would you put a number one so we can greet you, because you know how we roll, Globies. We greet everyone and make everyone feel welcome. Hey, Chessie's Adventure says, I get lonely. It's only me and my dogs. I have a sister, but she has a busy life. I really love these live broadcasts. Thanks. That's the whole point of, or one of the points of these broadcasts, Chessie's. I'm so glad that this is a benefit to you. Hey, Finding Courage. Any Globies in North Carolina? There's lots of Globies in North Carolina. My brother's in North Carolina. His wife's in North Carolina. Lots of Globies there. Uh, Sheila, have a good night. You too. Okay, Chef Santa Travels is in the house. Chef, we have been praying up a storm for you, and I've been praying for you every day. Are you okay? I know you were in the hospital. How are you doing? I am so glad to see you. You don't know how happy I am to see you. Thank you for saying hello, Chef. Go over and give Chef Santa some love. Can you just give him some love? 3 generations as a content creator. Let's see. Nora is not a content creator, but she has an art shop on Etsy. So go over and check out Artworks by Nora K at Etsy. Beautiful, beautiful art by a fantastically talented artist. Everyone's Dell is saying thank you, Mary, for being here. Everyone's saying thank you. See who
You're
other
welcome.
content.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
we're so glad you were here. Thank you, Brenda Burner. Hit that thumbs up, guys. Outdoor Dash Travels. There's her. She's a content creator, and there's her link. She's also one of my moderators. Moderators, drop your links too. Nora says, if some of my art will be published in a book that's coming out soon. Whoa, an artist collective and recipe book. Well, we got to know about this book, Nora. You got to tell us when it comes out. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for dropping Chef Santa Travels website. Thank you. Um, I'll have more details next week. Okay, Nora, we'll look forward to that. Everyone's saying hello to Chef Santa. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you so much. Yay. Felicity Calf is the first time in the house. Love your channel. She's saying hi, Mary. Thank you for being here, Felicity. Everyone say hello to Felicity. You know how we do, folks. We greet our first
Hi,
timers.
Felicity.
Hello, hello. Chef Santa says, thank you for all the prayers. It really helps. God, it is great. God is the great physician and he's working to help. I'm so glad to hear that. Graham is saying good day from Australia. Oh my goodness. And Emily Eubanks, first time in the house. My first time with your live, but have watched your channel for a long time. Well, I'm so glad you decided to come over and join us today, Emily. So go ahead and say hello to Emily too. Sylvie says, wow, Nora, congrats. That is great. Bonds on a Roll is a content creator. Go over and check her out. Outdoor Dash Travels, of course. CW Styles is saying goodbye. Felicity Caff is saying, I'm feeling welcome. Well, that's good. You should feel welcome because you are welcomed here. And Adele says, welcome in and hi to all the newbies. Yes, yes, yes. Ark Rosebud says, be safe, love, and hugs. All right, folks, it's time to wrap up. I'm going to make like a shepherd and get the flock out of here. So, love you. I know. I'm just full of it today, aren't I?
Yes, you
Mary,
are.
thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you for
looking
having
forward
me. I
to
really appreciate it.
well, I'm looking forward to can someone drop the link, one of my moderators drop the link from Mary's channel, which is Maximalist Minibus. And I would do a banner, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll kick myself off. But can someone Maximalist mini bust. If someone can drop after you drop that, I will close out the broadcast today. Um, uh, Nora's saying bye, Jessica. Bye, Mary. Bye, Carol. Bye, Nora. Thank
Bye,
you.
Miss Nora.
There's the link for Mary's channel. Thank you, my great moderator, Lisa from Outdoor Dash Travels. All right, guys, go over, show Mary some love. Be on the watch out for her video coming up, and she's going to tell how about she did a circus act in her bus, rolling her over and over and over. Okay. All right, but thank God she's okay. All right, I'm heading out of here. I will see you guys later. Have a good one and see you down the road. May your journeys be filled with joy and blessings. All right, let me try.